International.
Exotic land framework, a giant in the sun, rich in human and natural resources, a land of cultural diversity for tourists' appreciation. Nigeria occupies 923,766 square kilometers, accommodating over 250 indigenous languages. It is a wonderful environment for leisure and business. Nigeria, land of milk and honey, a paradise for tourists.
It is the most coveted seat on the planet, and there is no love lost between the contestants. The world's most celebrated democracy faces its biggest test so far. Who will be the next occupant of the White House? Keep a date with NTA on November 8th for the unique African coverage of the race to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Will Clinton...
NTA International News. President Buhari on a two-day official visit to Edo State inaugurates development projects, just as Vice President Yemi Osinbajo unveils a new national water strategic program. Nigeria Postal Service puts its weight behind anti-corruption crusade, launches special stamps. U.S. presidential race final campaign, candidates just sold for the White House. Thanks for joining us on the news at this hour on NTA International. My name is Omini Udan. President Muhammadu Buhari has launched the choice of the Edo State Governor Adams Oshimole to sacrifice his personal comfort to give his people a state-of-the-art medical facility. Inaugurating the new 200-bed Central Hospital complex in Benin, the president said he is impressed with the facility. Agatha Egware-Ojo reports.
The Central Hospital was first built in 1902 with just 10 beds. It has grown over the years to accommodate 280 beds and also involve in training of undergraduate and postgraduate health personnel. Today, this new complex has additional 200 beds and is well equipped. President Buhari inspected the facility. He was impressed with what he saw.
I respect the sacrifice of his personal comfort. Instead of building a government house, he decided to build this hospital. In any case, knowing him as we do, if he built the government house, he will spend most of the time outside it. So he is well built the hospital, where I think we will keep on praying for him up to the end of his life.
For Governor Shomoli, no need to waste time lamenting on the loss incurred from medical tourism. He says practical steps must be taken to put things on ground.
Subject to what the next governor will do, my position is that this hospital will not be run in the way that the public service is run. Doctors will not be paid on the basis of prescribed salary that does not discriminate between doctors who work and doctors who doesn't. From what we see elsewhere, you are paid according to your productivity.
The people are overwhelmed by not just the outlook, but the interior of the complex.
And I hope we'll value it and put it to good use.
What me see for here today, he surprised me. Me never think said they would see this kind of thing for Benin.
With the huge investment, not just in the building, but the facilities in this hospital, this project seeks to put an end to medical tourism in Nigeria. And of course, it is affordable to the rich and the poor. In Benin, Agatha Egware-Ojo, NTA News.
Still from Edo State, the Oba of Benin have commended the various initiatives by the federal government to revive the nation's economy. Receiving President Muhammadu Buhari in his palace, Oba Iwari II asked for more federal government presence in the state. Ogochu Kuka on our reports.
President Buhari is the first to visit the Oba officially since his coronation. The Oba commended the federal government for the effort in restoring peace in different parts of the country while acknowledging the achievements of Governor Adams Oshomole.
I'd like to reiterate my earlier appeal to the federal government under the able leadership of Mr. President for support in the transformation of Gele into an export processing zone, especially for agro-allied industries. This should in no small measure create employment for our teeming unemployed youths, promote more business activities in the state, and by logical extension, contribute positively to the economy of the country.
President Muhammadu Buhari assured Nigerians of a prosperous economy, the current challenges notwithstanding. He congratulated Edo State for the APC victory at the polls, which will ensure continuity in governance and enhance development.
This is the second time you invited me to come over a time that the commission is effort in spite of the economic downturn in the country. We hope the APC will look for a place for him. We will not allow the government with the labor is too far from the
In Benin, Ogochkuka Ona, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has unveiled a new national water strategic program towards achieving sustainable water management and sanitation in the country. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure and singular honor to launch the
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo unveiling the national water policies and launch of partnership for expanded water supply, sanitation and hygiene. Nigeria, he says, did not meet the Millennium Development Goals for water and sanitation, despite successive governments and development partners' efforts due to lack of effective coordination and inability to harness the required funds.
Statistics show that over 66 million Nigerians still lack access to safe water, while 110 million do not have adequate sanitation. Consequently, large numbers of children under the age of 5 die annually from diarrhea-related diseases, and these are mostly traceable to unsafe drinking water. The situation is even more depressing in the rural areas, where polluted ponds and streams remain the only sources of water for drinking and other household chores. This trend must change.
Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, says with the launch, it is expected that there will be a purposeful synergy of all activities in the sector.
The strength of the program is that it is designed to build on all ongoing efforts, as well as complement existing water supply and sanitation strategies by instituting a funding, scoping, coordination and monitoring framework for project delivery.
The state governments indeed are willing to partner in order to ensure availability of water in each corner of Nigeria.
Nobody is an island. Knowledge here, knowledge there. We continue to work together to ensure that the nation gets to where it's supposed to be.
The PWASH is a 15-year program that is divided into 3 phases. From the Yerodwa Conference Center in Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Yusuf Lassun, has sought the assistance of German Parliament in repatriating Nigeria's looted funds. Lassun granted audience to a delegation from German Parliament, identified educational skills acquisition as possible areas of collaboration. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports.
The visit of the German legislators provided the platform for the Deputy Speaker to table some areas in which Germany can be of help to Nigeria, such as education, restoring peace in the Niger Delta, and most importantly, assisting Nigeria to rebuild the Northeast.
Intensive investment in agriculture, exploitation of our solid mineral resources. Any country that comes up to come and partner with us in these two areas, yes, we'll definitely enjoy our cooperation.
In the past, our interest has been in Asia, but right now it is in Africa, and we have keen interest in Nigeria's economy.
It was a visiting day for the German delegation, as they also visited the House Committees on Basic Education and Services and that of Women in Parliament, where partnership in education was also re-echoed.
But we still have the challenge of boy child not being sent to school in the Southeast. Ditto for the girl child education in the North.
The interactive session was quite interesting because we have learned a lot.
We must look at the binational commission, the areas of collaboration, the areas of engagement.
The visit is part of measures to build a vibrant Nigeria-Germany parliamentary friendship. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Some children orphaned by insurgency are said to be housed in Abuja. Wives of Niger and Kebbi state governors at the foundation laying of the home said the initiative is aimed at complementing government's efforts towards providing succor to the displaced children. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
Statistics from the third displacement matrix of the International Organization for Migration indicates that over 1 million people are still displaced, with about 50% as orphans due to the insurgency in the Northeast. Halal Orphanage has before now been rehabilitating and reintegrating the orphans, abused and abandoned children into the society.
Children from all spheres of the society, from all tribes. In fact, we have at least 2 or 3 people from the East.
Feed the poor as how they feed me. How I try to help them as how they help me in life too.
Speakers at the event commended President Muhammadu Buhari's determination to restore peace in the region and make life better for all Nigerians.
To helping these children, nurture them to become great citizens and of Nigeria.
To help those children, it's a credible and laudable effort that should be supported by all and sundry.
And also you guard the society, because when we have so many of these people who do not have anything, then how can you sleep with your eyes closed?
They appealed to Nigerians to support government's efforts in all its activities for a better Nigeria. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Outgoing chairman of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BON, and Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, has stated that there is no going back on the path of greatness BON has achieved. He said this at BON's Central Working Committee meeting. Again, Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
This meeting, which I said,
the Central Working Committee's meeting is the last to be chaired by the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, as the chairman of the umbrella body of broadcast organizations in Nigeria. The Executive Director of Finance and Administration and former chairman of the organization between February and May 2016, Philip Ofegbu, was decorated with Medal of Honor for bringing a lot of achievements within the period. Yakubu Ibn Mohammed is expected to hand over the chairmanship of the organization to the Chief Executive Officer of Channels Television in December this year.
I am glad and happy that we are leaving behind, a broadcasting organizations of Nigeria that is growing from strength to strength. The incoming chairman of BON, Mr. John Momo, is a well-known broadcaster, and he's a go-getter, he's an achiever. I'll be there, in and out, I will give my all to the fortunes of the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria, BON.
BON is an organization of yesterday, today, and very much tomorrow. That an organized body like BON, it's a broadcasting organization like BON, then definitely there will be a bit confusion, because there won't be cohesion And without cohesion, we might not be able to achieve or make a good mileage.
He took over from Shola Omole, and then he handed over to the present DG of NTA. That was just 3 months. But within that period, all right, there were lots of things that happened. There was just like 3 years or more. So that's why Broadcast Organization of Nigeria today felt it wise to see to it that at least he is honored and decorated with this because of the eventful nature of his short tenure.
The meeting had earlier observed a mini silence in honor of late Lieutenant Colonel Muhammad Abu Ali, who died in line of duty, and late Henry Odugala, Secretary General of Ratau. Adebola, Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria. We'll be right back with more stories. Stay with us.
It is the most coveted seat on the planet, and there is no love lost between the contestants. The world's most celebrated democracy faces its biggest test so far. Who will be the next occupant of the White House? Keep a date with NTA on November 8th for the unique African coverage of the race to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Will Clinton clinch the Trump card? America decides. NTA's all-night coverage of the 2016 U.S. presidential election. America decides. She or he.
Good to be back. The Nigerian Postal Service NetPost has joined the anti-corruption campaign of the present administration with the launch of 4 special anti-corruption postage stamps. In a message to the event, President Muhammadu Buhari reiterated government's commitment to deliver on campaign promises by providing good governance, principles of accountability, as well as fighting corruption. Ruben Okala reports.
Nigeria's official stamps were issued on 3rd July 1914 with the amalgamation of the northern and southern protectorates. Regarded as one of the most effective means of public relation tools, necessitated the launch of the anti-corruption postage stamps.
I challenge other agencies of government to join and intensify efforts on the fight against corruption, as the Nigerian Postal Service has demonstrated today. Nigerians and the international community are invited to procure these stamps and not the messages conveyed by them.
The Minister of Communication and Postmaster General were categorical on the essence of the campaign.
Anti-corruption stamps is therefore apt and a reflection of the zeal of the people of this nation to eliminate corrupt practices from the polity.
Part of the legacy of this government to further put on record is zero tolerance for corruption.
When you post a letter to anywhere, you have to use Nigerian stamps, and it will land there. And the people will know that we have started a war against corruption.
NIPOS says, by this presentation, the anti-corruption crusade of Mr. President is now domiciled in the 193 member countries of the Universal Postal Union, IPU and beyond. Ruben Okala, NTA News.
The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries says it is committed to a deal made in Algiers, Algeria. Let's join Edeago for details of this and more on Business News.
Welcome to Business News. The Director General of the Debt Management Office, Abraham Wankwo, has restated that the loan request by the federal government is normal, contrary to insinuations that the 3-year borrowing program is an indirect way of trapping the country. He notes that since Nigeria exited from the Paris and London Club debt in 2005-2006, the country has always borrowed almost from all the sources they want to borrow from now. He disclosed that if secured, infrastructure will be built in the next 5 to 7 years, and Nigeria will be in a position to service her debts and turn around the economy. Finally, let's take a quick check on trading activity on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. That's our package. The news continues shortly. I am Ede Aru.
As presidential nominees of the Democratic and the Republican parties spring to the finish mark, supporters of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump intensified campaign skills at the Times Square in New York Sunday night, even as the FBI clears Hillary Clinton of email controversy. Joy Osiago reports on the fascinating public sphere engagements that revealed the deep feelings of ordinary Americans.
Welcome to Times Square in New York, the city that never sleeps. As Americans decide to make another dream come true, hundreds of supporters of both Democrats and Republicans are here conversing and urging last-minute voters to make the right choice.
It doesn't matter how the vote turns out. We know that God is in control and His perfect will be done.
However, therein lies the challenge, as eligible voters, especially the millennials, express frustration with the choices available.
I am voting for Hillary because I know that she's going to work for all of us.
I didn't really hear Hillary say anything what she was going to do for the black community. I'm not voting for none of them. But somebody got to be president. If somebody's going to be president, I might as well vote for a girl. Hillary. Go Hillary.
Hillary. Me too, Hillary.
While supporters of Hillary Clinton agree with her vision for the country, they abhor the content of her Pandora box. Trump faithful acknowledge his business sense, but resent what they call his impulsive behavior.
Trump is a visionary, he's an innovator. You understand? And he creates values. Is that what the system needs? Values. We don't have values, we don't have hope.
He's a very good businessman, yes, he is. But he doesn't understand about politicians in our country.
The public sphere debate is on, with a potpourri of entertainment to keep the city awake. From Times Square in Midtown Manhattan, New York City, Joy Osiago, NTA News.
Still from the United States, early voting ends on the eve of election, and so far about 50 million voters have already cast their ballots. Adeyemi Omojola Fatoba in this special report takes a look at the processing, its advantages, and voters' participation in the 2016 U.S. election cycle. Her report.
Early voting is an integral part of the electoral process in the United States. In 2016, about 40 states had early voting, including the battleground state, Ohio. It became popular in 2005 when the law was changed from casting absentee ballot by mail in the comfort of their homes with a valid excuse to permitting voters to request an absentee ballot without an excuse, with the addition that they can also vote in person.
We like it. I mean, you know, life is busy. People have things to do. They have kids, they have jobs, and you know, one day some people may not think is enough.
From record, early voting affords about 40% of the people or more that will vote in an election cycle to do so within 28 days before election day. Election day in the United States is not a federal holiday, so some people will go to work that very day, and it's like this is a good opportunity for them to make their voices heard.
It's great to be here and to see all the people that have come out to vote, and we're expecting a huge turnout on Tuesday. It's important that every single person come out to vote.
This is something that I know that I can make a difference. By voting, it's obvious that my vote really counts.
Today my day off, and I want to make sure I opinion my voice.
What they have mentioned is the souls to the polls aspect of the early voting, designed to mobilize voters, keep them engaged and energized at the last weekend before election day. The U.S. 2016 presidential election early voting witnessed a record turnout of old and young, whites, blacks, and people of color from different race and religion. From Franklin County Board of Elections office in Columbus, Ohio, Adeyemi Omojola Fatoba, NTA News.
Moving away from the United States, Olayinka Ojo has reports on some happenings around the world.
Fighting between militias in Somalia's central Galkayo city killed at least 29 people and wounded more than 50, officials from both sides said on Monday. Reports indicate that 16 soldiers serving in the region's armed forces had been killed, while 30 others were also wounded since fighting broke out again. Victims of a rail crash that killed at least 79 people in Cameroon have filed a lawsuit against train operators and French owner, accusing them of negligence and involuntary manslaughter, their lawyer said. A packed passenger train derailed last month between the capital Yaoundé and the Central African country's port city in Douala. Elsewhere, almost 700 migrants arrived the Italian port town of Augusta on Monday after being rescued from their perilous boat journey across the Mediterranean Sea. The migrants rescued by Italian and Spanish ships crowded on the deck of the vessel as it approached the Sicilian port, where Red Cross personnel waited to assist them. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
And from our arts and entertainment desk comes a report that an exhibition, which is a display of photos telling the history of Nigeria, gives expression not only to the beauty of our great country, but also our cultural heritage. This was in Abuja, and Bosse Ebel is ready to tell us more.
Pictures to document and tell the history of the people. Held at the Thought Pyramid in Wuse, Abuja, was a unique environment to help art lovers evoke emotions of a beloved country. With the theme, Our History, Your Story, Our Future, the exhibition understandably gathered artists alike who appreciated the various collections expectedly in their individual critique. Take, for example, Baba Shetima, a photographer and art collector.
Out of the lot of these photographs, I took very few.
Sharon Kaburu is the organizer of the photo exhibition.
I feel very honored that people have actually given the ear to know that Nigerian history is important. This also was possible through the British Council because they saw the importance of this event.
Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed was represented by Magnus Ojoonu, while former Director of Information State House Musa Adwa presided.
If you don't understand history, if you don't have a peek into history, you will not be able to navigate the future.
It's determination to make sure that our history is not forgotten.
For art enthusiasts, the exhibition was a welcome idea.
Nigeria in History Photo Exhibition over.
It is hope
the labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain.
We now move on to sports with Amanzi Marcos with sports updates.
A team of 22 players led by coach Garba Manu began their campaign for the Under-19 Continental Cup against England on Wednesday before taking on Iran on Thursday and hosts South Korea on Saturday. Kenya's Mary Keitani ran to her third consecutive victory of the New York City Marathon on Sunday in 2 hours 24.26 seconds. The 34-year-old mother of two pulled away from her rivals before the 10-mile mark, finishing completely out of sight of the rest of the field. The men's race was won by 20-year-old Eritrean Girmay Gebreselassie, who pulled away from a tight pack of 3 at mile 20 as he won in 2 hours 7.51 seconds, making him the youngest winner in the history of the marathon. Andy Murray has been speaking about his new status as world number 1 ahead of the final tournament of the season at home in London.
Normally when I'm nervous, that suggests you're gonna play well. It might be difficult at the beginning of the match, but it shows that you're really up for it.
Novak Djokovic is now second in the top 10, followed by Stan Wawrinka in third. Gael Monfils is in 6th position, while Rafael Nadal is in number 8, with Roger Federer again out of the top 10. With Sports Update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
Now a quick check on Tuesday's weather outlook for some Nigerian and world cities. That wraps it up on the news at this time. Thanks for watching. Ominu Den is my name.
NTA International News.
President of the United States. It is a tussle for the world's most powerful position. She says
10 people who have had that awesome responsibility have come out and in an unprecedented way said they would not trust Donald Trump.